Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. One more mic check 1 2 1 2. One more mic check 1 2 1 2. All right, I think we may have finally got it sorted. Oops, what just happened? There we go. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry to anybody who stopped by my stream yesterday where my microphone apparently decided it wanted to stop working pretty much halfway or quarter way through, so I didn't realize and spent my entire stream silent. So I do apologize to anybody that stopped by. And I thought I was talking to them, but I was not. So, a little late today. Still dealing with some health issues, but really kind of feel like I need to make some progress here on this PC Engine LT. So, at the very least, we'll decap and clean, and if I've got enough in me, we'll recap. For anybody that was watching yesterday, I did, in fact, get that Neo Geo fixed, and it was a broken track between the video RAM and the line sprite processor. So that was a pretty good discovery. I'm pretty happy with that one. And got that patched up, and after a long hunt, I found the UV light to cure the resin. And after a couple coats of the resin, because the first one didn't stick, I finally got a good bond. So I just think whatever resin I have takes like good 20 minutes to cure or so, because yeah, the longer, once I let it sit, it was fine, but yeah, that 10-minute cure was not enough. So anyway, let's move on to this PC Engine LT. If you were here for the last one, you know that I absolutely dread this, because this is one of the most compact and difficult boards to work on. On top of which is an insanely expensive item. So, yeah, needless to say, I don't like working on them, just for the fact that I get so nervous. Look at that, I did peel up that stinking trace, didn't I? Well, I guess when I reinstall the shield, I'll have to... Yeah, right here, there's a slightly lifted pad, but that's just to hold the ground shield in. This board, however, is in known working condition, so I got that going for me. So I literally just have to be extremely careful when pulling the caps off, and then hopefully, all said and done, she'll fire right up first time. The only issue that I really noticed with this particular board was the audio was very scratchy and gross sounding. But again, looking at the audio section, there is some slight leakage, but for the most part, this board was actually in pretty good shape. Now I'm going to go. Yeah, hold on a minute here. Empty out my mini trash can. There's this old shot glass here to hold all the removed stuff before I completely trash it. I wanted to take a look through it to make sure that I'm not throwing away anything important, because I kind of thought I see these. I pulled off these jacks. I might not have had to. They're pretty gross, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of them. I thought for a second I might still have that old T8 T500 transformer in here, but unfortunately I think I did just throw that one away. Yeah, no luck. Dang. I threw away a part that I realized might not have been bad and is unfortunately ultra rare, so double whammy on that one, but that's my own fault, and I'm like 90% sure it was dead anyway, but you never know. Alright, well, I'm just going to get rid of these jacks because there's no reason to keep them. And we're ready to go. So let's get under the microscope here, and we're just going to start pulling off caps. And I think this time around I'm going to actually take care of the cleaning right after the removal, so that by the time I get to the reinstallation, I just have to plop the cap on and go. So we could see, take a look at my little mouse cursor right here. You can see there's some cap leakage, but most of these pads look pretty shiny, which generally indicates that they haven't burst yet, so that's good. But regardless, they are going to go, so not much we can do but kind of just jump in. And I prefer the cut method. Now, do I do it? I think it's more, yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta get this positioned right. You want to cut parallel to the pads here. Now, with the paper towel, I'm just a little nervous, and I prefer just knowing for 100% fact that there's no metal. Some people like to twist the caps. I think that's a little bit too much stress. This guy's honestly giving me more trouble than I'm used to. There we go. And so now we're left with this, which you can see those are the two legs that go up in the capacitor. Now this part also kind of sucks because you do want to make sure that you don't ping these off onto your board. So I just like to kind of put my finger right on top of the. And then, let's see, there's one. There's the other. And that way, you don't have random metal bits floating above the board. Now, depending on how lucky you get, sometimes these just lift right off. As we're going to see on one side, but the other side is kind of a pain in the butt here, huh? So, very thin plastic. Just come back in with your snips. Just kind of crunch it. There you go. And that is a single cap removed. Oh, it's another PC Engine LT, Felch. It is intricate is a very nice way of saying it, I would say. Here, I'll do this for you. Take a look. Let's get some focus for you. It is a very, very compact board. This is a TV tuner, and now all these parts basically make up. You're probably more familiar with the TurboGrafx 16. This is basically a portable TurboGrafx 16, although they call it the laptop version. That's what the LT stands for. So it's not really portable because you do need to have a power supply to power it. So it's not truly portable, but it's portable in that it's a contained system. So right now I am removing all these old capacitors. Yeah, it is very teeny. It is also very, very expensive. So as I am doing this, I am quite literally peeing my pants in fear. You can see all the electrolytic fluid still contained within, spilling out. Yeah, these are all capacitors. So these old these old electrolytic capacitors, I should say, they have a pretty defined lifespan. But the ones that were made in the 90s were actually pretty terrible. And they have a very storied history of doing, like, just basically exploding on the board. And the electrolytic fluid is actually corrosive. So it eats away at components. And usually when you start working on these vintage systems, the first thing to do is to replace the capacitors. Like you can see, like this brown stuff, like right here, that came from one of these caps, most likely. Kind of already cleaned up the worst areas last week because I just didn't want the acid to be sitting on the board anymore. But this one was actually pretty clean. By the way, if you're still there, is my mic coming through okay? I was having a lot of mic issues yesterday. So I installed some software today in the hopes of correcting that. Probably should have done the start, but I replaced them with the same one in the sense that they're going to get replaced with the required capacitance and voltage, but they're modern capacitors. I probably could have spent the time and hand done a ceramic kit, but I just buy them pre done. And ooh, look at that! See, basically they come with more electrolytics, so you can see that is actually not too good right there. This might be a potentially corroded trace, so I'm gonna have to look into that after I clean it. Figure out where that one goes. No, I don't think that's a ground. No, it's not, because ground's on the north side on these chips. So I'm not sure. It's probably going to. Maybe, I don't know. We'll look for it. We'll clean up and see if I can't. I'll zoom in a little bit more on that one. Okay. These caps are definitely in a lot better shape because they don't feel as soft and mushy like the last ones that was taken off did. Alright. Okay, got that one. And now we're going to get this. Maybe? Maybe not. So, pull this off now. Piece of plastic now that I just lost. Hold on a minute, see if I can't just. There we go. Alright, so. Okay, so now I can see where that goes. So, quick little test. So, we want to make sure that this guy is still connected to this guy. Yay! Okay, so it wasn't corroded off. Good deal. So, today, I'm going to go back to our favorite desoldering tip. If I can somehow find it. Where'd you go? Those are BC2s, which I don't want. Is that you? That is you right there. Cool. Perfect. Alrighty. Let's go. So now we've got to basically remove the solder from this through hole. I'm going to assume. So there's the. Let's see here. We've got these two guys. It doesn't seem right. I think it's this one? That would make sense given the. I believe that's the audio amp. And that would probably be the cap. If I had to guess. focus. Is that really the right one? It's gotta be, right? Yeah, that's gotta be it. Alright. Let's see here. I think I can just... Well, I'm gonna have to clean this off first. Dang it. Alright. Freaking desoldering pump was literally... Okay, so let's just clean this off real quick and see what we can do here. Not a very big fan of... Okay. Not too bad. Need my... towel here to dump all this junk out on. Okay, so we obviously still have some, might have to come in here some braid, but we'll try one more time with the pump. Still think that's gonna probably give me fits. I might just end up cutting it, but we'll see. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming, but let's try that one more time here. There we go, it's a little bit better of a melt. Still not good enough. And also, yeah, see, I got a bunch of this crap on the board, which I don't like. So let's use a little bit of braid on this guy. Might be a little bit better for me. Just a taparoo, some flux here. Don't need my, well, I guess we're going to use all that flux. Why not? Why not? So I got to be real careful of these capacitors and resistors. Just try to... So what we might have here is the capacitor fluid might have leaked through to the through hole. And when it does that, it stops it from wetting down easily. And so you get these very stubborn components that don't want to really kind of cooperate. That's looking better, but my guess is it's still pretty soldered on. So here I am wiggling it. That leg is good. I think it is actually going to be this other guy right here. It's kind of stuck to the side, so we will kind of help him along. Maybe, just maybe. Still think it's in the same boat, though. Sure does feel like it. So, the other thing we can do is, let's see here. Might be a little too thick here, but trying to. Okay. Now, maybe we got lucky. Does not feel like it, no. Okay, I might have to do this one off camera. Let's see here. Perfect. Okay, so kind of had to do the old heat and pull. But as we can see, looking good. Let's take a look at the other side real quick. Yeah, this one definitely had some minor, but definitely had some fluid leakage. So now what we end up doing, I'll just take a look. Yeah, you can see, it's kind of hard to see, it's a little blurry, but you can see the fluid on that. And then this is what I was talking about. You can see the corroded solder up top. This is stuff that is filled with the fluid and doesn't want to really wet down all that well. So it makes kind of removing these things a little bit of a pain in the butt. Screw it. I'm just going to keep it on. So, put this in the view here. Just scrub a dub on this guy. Kind of like to basically brush towards the edge of the board to try to kind of maybe coerce the fluid towards that side. And obviously, we're going to come in here with the soldering iron and braid and clean up all this crap, and then I'll clean again. So it's a couple part cleaning process to get this taken care of, but as we can see, it is for the most part going pretty good. So what we do now is we've got to remove all the old legs. So we just go to these guys. I like to kind of go with the pad. And we just scoop them up. There we go. Uncle Sam Autos. Volume up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on 1 minute. I was having a lot of mic issues the other day, so I'm still kind of getting that settled. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's do... How's that? Is that better? Just let me know, because I'm kind of clueless. I'm just going by what my meters are saying. I'm trying not to go too crazy here. And they're peaking in the yellows, so I was assuming that I was okay. I might be speaking also a little lower today simply because my head is freaking killing me. Better? It's better now? this one's kind of tricky. There we go. Okay. All right. So now what we end up doing is I'm going to go through all of these pads here, maybe a little bit more. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to all right, so I'm at literally 100 now. I'm as far as I can go in my Wave Studio thingy that I downloaded today. So hopefully that's okay. I might be able to do some more on the mic too. Yesterday, my mic just literally just stopped working in the middle of the stream, and I had no idea it wasn't working. So I did basically almost an entire stream with no audio, which felt great. Perfect. Okay, so I guess I just needed to jack it all the way up then. Okay. Now, basically, we're just going to go through and remove all the solder that we just put on. It's always better to go with the pads. So in this case, go up and down, not side to side. Put a little less stress on them and less chance for you to lift them. How's that? Hopefully that's flat. Should be flat. You do want them to be as flat as possible so when you go and put the capacitors on, they sit flush. Yeah, let's go ahead and clip that and do this again. You can see that some of that solder transferred from the braid to the pad. All right, ouch. All right, multimeter. You can shut off. We don't need you now anyway. Okay. 2 more on this side, and then we're going to come back in with the alcohol and clean yet again. Oops. Kinda undid my work there. I guess I'm just maybe I should use the thicker braid for this. I have slightly thicker braid, might clog up a little less easily. But I did use a lot of solder on these pads here, so it's kind of really more on me than anything. Okay, that's clean. Come in here. Yeah, you can see way too much solder. Might actually even start using a little bit more extra flux. Might help a little bit, but next time I'll try to keep it a little bit lighter on the solder. The whole point there is you're trying to mix in the good solder with the bad solder, and that way when you pull everything off, you get all any corroded crap comes off with it. So, alright, so let's just do this again now. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. These cheap braids, man. And just whatever little bit of rosin flux they put on them is so bad at burns like instantly. You know, off with all this crusty crap. So annoying. And then maybe just a little bit of a plastic scrape here. Get this last little bit of burnt flux up. Just more of a... I much prefer having everything look nice and shiny. That looks good there. Looks good there. Okay. So we're not going to recap yet because I want to get them all off the board first, so that way I don't have to bother with marking them and keeping track of what I've done and blah, 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 blah. So that was a slightly less tricky section. This one's pretty easy right here. Grab him. Okay. Re-snip. It's not what I wanted to do, but we did it anyway. Okay. Perfect. Okay. This one also not so bad, really. Thought I'd pull that up, but I did not. A little bit of metal bit. All right. Just okay. And then we're just flip the board a little bit here. That way, slightly easier access to do this. Guess this guy I could just kind of grab off like so. And we'll do a little tiny bit of solder. Try to not go too crazy this time. Alright, let's try the thicker braid on this guy. Dude, there's just literally flux covering everything lately. Stupid Amtech syringe, man. I'm never buying this from Lewis Rossman ever again. Shit's good flux, but my god, it's been such a pain in the ass to use. Alright, so let's try some thicker braid here. Oh yeah. Thicker braid, a little less solder. And that's looking pretty effing good. Unfortunately, there's too many Can't really squeeze it off the edge of the board like I like to, but hopefully this Q-tip will grab up most of the fluid if there's any left. Looking pretty good. Alright, so we got that one. That one was pretty easy. Let's move over to this next cluster over here. And that would be these guys. So I'm thinking maybe we get this one to start. If I flip that like this. Nice easy access to this guy. What's Flux 87? What is that? And yeah, water damage is the absolute worst shit in the world to repair, so I feel you on that. Careful here. But I really do not know what a Flux 87 is. Okay, so now we can get these other two caps. I'll just flip this around. Oh, fluke. Ooh. Yeah, that one hurts, man. Those things are not cheap. Holy crap. I bet you're probably not too happy about that discovery. I know I wouldn't have been. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. That's some rough news, dude. Hopefully it's not too bad. I've considered getting a fluke here and there, but my little freaking $20 Astro AI meter has been like such a trooper. And to be quite honest, for what I do, I just haven't been able to convince myself to go buy a fluke. Which is weird because usually for me, anytime that I can go spend money on equipment, I usually have no qualms doing so, but okay. Yeah, water damage is very ruthless. I do not. It's kind of part of the reason I stopped working on switch lights. Is to be quite honest, every time it got to the point where it felt like every one that I opened up was just nothing but nonstop liquid damage, and the success rate on fixing them was beginning to get very low. So I kind of stopped buying them. And it's like the other thing is you never, you could fix it, but you never really know how long the fix is going to stay good for, like if it got under a BGA chip or a bunch of other things. And It's like cancer, man. It just spreads. It's very light surface damage, then it's fine, but otherwise I'll fix liquid damage stuff for Pride, but most of the times I won't sell them back on. So I just don't trust how long they'll last, and I don't want to sell somebody something that's going to break, you know? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think I should be able to come up over that variable resistor without much issue here. Guessing this has to do with the contrast and the brightness, maybe the tint. I think these are all screen related capacitors. Not 100% sure because unfortunately these things are so rare that good luck finding info on them, let alone schematics or whatnot. Now, of course you're going to be fighting me, huh? Pull you off bit by bit and then hope all that metal gets stuck in the fluid. Thankfully these things are usually pretty soft, so... Okay. It's been a while since I've seen you in the stream, Uncle Sam. I hope your Thanksgiving break was good. Okay, so now I'll just flip the board just so I can get slightly easier access to these guys right here. Now, is that just a piece of plastic that I missed? Yes. Okay, good. What are these? This is metal? No? Just fluid? Okay. Okay. So we could see that this area's had a little bit of leakage. Assuming that was before I got my hands on it, but never know. Man, I've got one of those headaches that's just like, feels like someone's drilling a spike right behind my eyeball. A very focused headache. I've been plagued by them lately. They've just been, I don't know, I've never really suffered from headaches, and just lately it's been non-stop. So lots of health decisions and changes coming up in the new year. Get back on my diet and start eating better again. I would imagine that I'd say probably 90% of the issues that I'm facing lately are just me not eating right. And I used to eat pretty well, and now I'm not. So I need to get back to eating well again, and maybe I'll start feeling well as well. It's kind of funny how that works, right? Alright, well that's that section pretty much done. Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. Now this should slide off pretty easily here. There we go. Oh God, bro, yeah, I won't say mine's been 10 days, but it's definitely been constant these past couple of days. And that sounds something bit you in the head. Jeez, man. I don't know. I'd say like usually my deal is after five business days. If it's not better on its own, that's when I go start seeing a doctor. Especially if you got bit by something. That sucks, man. That really sucks. Um, I come from a lot of doctors in my family. My grandfather was a physician, so I tend not to go see the doctor as often as I should. But there are times where you can't ignore it. Like I had a kidney stone a couple of years back, and that was probably like my first major health crisis because I've never broken a bone, I've never had stitches in my body. And then I got a kidney stone, and let me tell you, if you've never had a kidney stone, my friend, you don't know what hurt is. That was probably the most painful experience I've ever been through. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Yeah, 10 days is antibiotics in the ER. Yeah, it's sometimes, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but sometimes your body just doesn't react well to certain things. Like for me, tick bites. If I pull a tick off me, I'll actually, I can deal with issues related to that tick bite for up to a year. It sounds very unbelievable, but I actually had a tick bite not go away completely for 2 years. And it's like wherever the thing bit me, whatever the crap it is that reacts bad with my body just refused to come out. And eventually it went away, but oh man, that was annoying because you'd get these random flare-ups where my leg would just be so unbelievably itchy. And that huge bump. Yeah, it's just with ticks too. Like mosquitoes and all that. Like, yeah, that's annoying, but they go away within a couple of days. And we have a lot of chiggers here in Arkansas. Chigger bites are pretty bad too. Just more because of the itch is, if you've never been bit by a chigger before, it is an itch like no other. And before I moved to Arkansas, I had never been bitten by a chigger before, so there is that. So these definitely seem like a little bit corroded. But ticks have always loved me. My mom used to always joke about how I had that sweet blood. And they just seem to always target me on camping trips and any type of nature excursion. So, okay, I think that should get all that. Let's just go ahead and we shall flood and drain. So yeah, I'm a very big believer in deep woods off. If I'm going outside, even if I'm mowing my lawn, which actually, believe it or not, is where I got that tick bite from before. If I'm mowing my lawn, I'm covered in DEET. That stuff is a godsend, and actually, my cousin is a vet, and I think the vet that she interned with, or she did her apprenticeship with, was told her that if you're gonna ever go outside, the only thing you ever need is DEET. Nothing else works but DEET. So I've just kind of followed that line of thinking ever since. Well, I've always used it. The stuff is so good. Okay, so let's... Cat, if you jump on me, I'm not going to be happy right now. Came off pretty good there. Just got to be careful with all these resistor arrays here. A little clogged. This stuff is clogging a lot less than that other array, and it's not that much wider too. That's kind of funny. And this is... All right. My cat desperately wants to jump on my shoulder right now. I can tell. It's probably going to happen because she's got no self-control, but... Just hate how it leaves, like, see all that burnt, gross-ass rosin? Like, it's barely on the freaking thing. Using a little bit too much solder on these pads. Not much, but just enough to clog this braid up pretty easy. Not a huge deal, though. There we go. And like I said, you just kind of want to make sure that these pads are as flat as you can get them. Now, this is... Might need to use the other braid for that. No? Looking okay there. Alright. I think we should be okay. Maybe. Grab the thinner stuff real quick on this one. Maybe a little bit of, just a tiny bit. Tiny bit of flux there. I could see the surface is a little bumpy and I don't want that. Not a huge deal, but the less work I've got to do to get these capacitors put on, the better, because it's so freaking tight. Everything is so tight. Alright, so that's that. Now we got to do the boring part of cleaning. Probably should get some fresh alcohol in this bottle as well. The whole area should be nice and covered in alcohol. So kind of see just the crap it's pulling up. Yeah, we're gonna just leave that alone. It's fine. We got these done pretty well here. I might go ahead. Oh, we've got caps over there anyway, so we'll clean it when I do those. Alright, so now we're going to start getting into the trickier side of things. I got a couple easy ones left, I guess. Let's just do the easy one first. 58 and working under your scope becomes impossible with just a cup of coffee. So I actually, I decided to not go with the trinocular. I'm pure digital, and I just output to I think it's a 19-inch widescreen. I don't think I could handle working under the scope. I think my neck would hurt too much after a while. And I used to fly drones FPV, so I'm kind of used to looking at a screen and using and feeling comfortable, if that makes sense. Because I know that's kind of like a lot of people struggle with soldering or doing work while looking at a screen because they just feel disjointed, and I totally get that feeling. But I'm just so used to it. But I actually 100% need coffee, though. That is a requirement. I probably drink at least half a pot a day, if not almost 3/4 of a pot. And I've cut my consumption down a lot in the recent years too, because it was starting to get to be too much. Ridge Repair Guy? I'm not familiar with that YouTuber. Northridge Fix. Yeah, so my opinion of him is not very good. I am not a very big fan of that guy, but in terms of what I do, yes. He uses a pretty big, sizable TV, though, which I don't. Just a small monitor off the side. Now, my dream is to actually mount it to the wall or have some monitor arms. But yeah, we'll get there. I just don't have the room for it right now. Yeah, a lot of people watch Northridge Fix, and he's just not. I don't enjoy him, and I have my personal reasons for it, but there is no denying he does have very good mechanical skills. Alright, so we could see once again we're dealing with some corrosion here. Okay, let's get this other guy up. We're going to bring some braid in. Yeah. So we might have to sit here and finagle these guys. So this cap has obviously leaked. So I'm not really seeing much in terms of that solder wetting down. So let's see what we can get with the braid here. It's kind of the big problem with leaky through holes is that, yeah, you could see like it's just not wanting to wet down for me. So what we can try to do is a little trick of just adding in some fresh. And that kind of maybe glued down for me. Okay. So now, hopefully, I don't have to go rescue my cat from doing something stupid here in just a second. Better. I can see through it now, so we might be able to get to it with my braid now. No. This one's going to be a pain in the ass. I can tell right now. Probably going to have to do a bunch of these floods. Okay, that kind of pulled some up. What about you? Better, but still not good enough. I gotta give the cap a break too, because it's starting to get really, really hot now. I think I might. Well, I gotta take a look here now. Let's see. That should pull straight through. Problem is this one is in a little bit of a awkward space for me to get a grip on. Okay, that's not working. Okay, we do. Let's try maybe flooding a little bit more solder in there. Didn't really get the greatest seal on that one. Yeah, it is just being an uncooperative son of a bitch. Okay, let's get some better braid. Cleaner braid. Might need some fresh flux on there, but come on, man. Stop being a pain. And just wet down for me, please. Boy, it's really fighting me. This guy's really fighting me now. So now this guy is also still attached. Okay. I could try the capacitor leg method. Let's solder a capacitor leg across these two. And that might be enough to keep the solder wet. Right now, these guys are just not cooperating with me. And it's definitely because okay, we got that guy now. Maybe might have enough. Okay. So I'm going to try, now it's off camera, but I really can't get a good view of it on camera. Alright, so it is literally, there we go. Alright, so doesn't look too bad there. And then we can take a look at the actual capacitor. And you can see that it definitely leaked through. Let's take a look at the other side real quick. Sure we didn't damage anything there. Yep, you can see how that just had that little ring that refused to wet down. This area definitely was probably one of the worst where it came to leakage. I think, yeah, because right underneath. No, never mind. Oh, wait. No, it is the other side. Okay. You can see this little bit of solder mask got worn away. Might need to reflow that power jack, but okay. So let's get I don't know which one to get out of the way first. I think I'm just going to work from the bottom up. I don't think there is an easy way to go about this one. You just kind of got to work in there and all right. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, I gotta be real careful about this one. I did not mean to do that. I probably should have clipped the leg knob off first. I don't really want to be lifting the legs off the pads. That's how you rip pads. I definitely don't want to be ripping pads in this area. That should just come right off now. Perfect. Yeah. I think we're all right there, though. And that would be ground anyway, which is good. What the heck? Yeah. Oh, no, that's just flake solder. We're good. Still good. Okay, now. Okay. Got you. Take it off. These ones are coming up a little bit more messy, but I have very little room to work with here. Pretty bad. Okay. Let's see if I can pull up. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Trying to get this all off in one chunk because it's all metal, so there we go. Okay, now this guy right here's got to go as well. Okay. And Now, might need to go snip these nubs, yeah. If I can get to them. Might just leave that in place. Now I think. Should be good there. Okay. I think no matter which way I go on this one, I'm screwed. So we'll just do this since I'm here. Okay, if you all will excuse me, I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Get some more coffee. Probably should be drinking water, but we'll ignore that fact for now. Yeah. Alrighty, let's get to it. 2 more in this section to go. Okay. Okay, I think Should have everything removed. Nope. Piece of wire sheathing. Alright. Go ahead and okay, there we go. Now, the last one in this section, which should now be far more easier to get to here. Guess I don't gotta worry about the plastic with this one. Probably gonna have to come in here and denub this one as well, but yeah. Yes, sir. If I can get to that, I might have to go from another direction, but it should be okay. Right there. Should be okay. Let me look. Oh, man. Yes. Okay. So you could see all that PCB mask, but that's just ground, so not a huge deal. But we definitely got to clean out this through hole some, and this one a little bit into it, but not much. Okay, let's right. A little bit of crap up there, but see now, what is that? What is that? It looks like it's metal, but it is metal. All right, not too shabby. I'll have to go clean that up as well, I think, but so the crappy thing about, oh look, see, this is one of the, if not the only through hole in that cartridge connector that refused to liquefy for me. So that was a very scary experience for me trying to get that cart connector off because it refused to kind of release those last couple of pins there. Careful where I tap that. Alright, so we don't really have too much room to work with here. in and out. I'm only at 350C, and this stuff is liquefied pretty good, so tells me that if there was any corrosion or leakage, it wasn't so bad in this area. It wasn't so bad. So I think just to make my life easier now, we will try to clear this out. Don't need much there, but need something. Now, should gotta be careful with this plastic right next to it. All right. Should be good there now. Should be good there. So, continue our tradition here of adding in a little bit of solder. I'm actually meaning this time I'm really trying to mean only a little bit of solder. Alright, gotta be careful of this plastic. Okay, got that. Okay. Nothing over there. Perfect. Guess we'll continue using the thicker braid while we still can. Clog up on me. Just a tiny bit. Like I said, you really do want to make sure these pads are as flat as possible because it will come back to bite you in the ass later. Not impossible to overcome, but why make your life more miserable than it needs to be? So again, gotta be careful with this plastic connector here. That top part definitely needs just a little bit more loving. Okay, looking good. Looking good. So now I gotta clean again. Pretty rigorous about the cleaning now because once you get everything put in, there's very little you can do. So you definitely want to make sure you get up all the junk you can. Which wasn't much, but yeah, because once you get this thing all put back together, you're going to lose access to pretty much everything. Okay. I might need to come on and do that other one, but oh, you know what? I think while I'm here, I wasn't too thrilled with how that kind of looked, so let's try to get a toothbrush on it. Just in case any cap juice leaked up in here. Okay. Well, that's about as good as I'm going to get that one. So, I guess I'll move down to the next section, which is here. I'm guessing probably going to have to remove that through hole. I could do that one. I can definitely do that one. This one's a royal pain. This one's not much fun either, but oh, okay. I was just worried that maybe my microphone broke again, but it is still showing as good for me. Might have been how I had that set up in OBS as well, because I had it set as a source, but this is working off of the default microphone setting now, so maybe I just configured it wrong. Don't know. Okay, do I want to do that through hole first? I don't think it's going to matter, to be quite honest. I really don't. But it's going to be a lot easier for me to do this one this way. These are transformers, I guess? Ceramic transformers? I'm not too used to seeing them. But the X generally means transformer. Okay. This one's going to be tricky. I might actually need to legitimately remove that through hole. This one feels like it leaked a bunch, but yeah, I'm like just mangling this right now, which is not good. I'm gonna do this, which I don't recommend. Okay, just to pull some of that crap away so I can see better. I mangled the crap out of this. So let's see if we can maybe keep snipping here. Okay, that should get that off for me. Alright, not the smoothest, but might be better if you are watching this as some sort of tutorial, because there's not much available on the web. Might be better off removing that through hole above it first. It will give you a lot more room to work with. A lot's a relative term, but alright, so let's, before we do the other two, let's just do that. Let's try. So I do believe it's those guys right there. Yeah, I don't remember these through holes being so tricky before. Shit, I did that and now I lost. What? Is that just paper towel? What in the frig? I mean, I know that's just from when I desoldered this, just leftover rosin flux, but alright, so that's where, oh, I do remember this one, because this one was not fun to do either. Let's see if I can't get some better focus on it. Alright, so, back with the desolder pump. Let's see, you got a couple transistors or diodes right next to it. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, huh? You can see the other side of that is, yeah, shit. This one was going to be fun, huh? It doesn't really help that I keep losing it. It's right there, is it not? Oh, son of a bitch. I do believe it is. That one. Yeah. That is it. Alright. Might just have to try to braid this one, but that's wetted now. But yeah, it's not really grabbing much. And that is because of corrosion. And I don't think, yeah, that's my other problem is it's hard for me to get this tip in here. Yeah, F. All the PCB mask came up. That one looks better, but I can't tell. Because this looks like, yeah, no, see, you could still see just how much is in there. Okay, so this one's going to be a pain in the butt, huh? I don't know how I'm going to do this one again. Might. I might almost just maybe just use some hot air, to be quite honest. Let's hit this board with some hot air and liquefy it. It is right in this area right here. Yeah, I can see it now. We can try might be able to pull one side out. Maybe. Might have. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay. Now, probably get a good grip on him, maybe. Just doing the old-fashioned heat and pull method, where I just heat a leg and kind of pull it through. Now I've lost where. Honestly, not my favorite way to do things, but I feel like I'm potentially causing issues here. I don't wish to do that, but do I have that? So you can see both those legs are almost out. Now that's the thing I could try. Maybe I get my. No. I'm just melting the plastic on the capacitor is all I'm doing there. Might. Can I clip this leg now? All right. Not the greatest. And again, no damage. And if I did this right, when I come back to it, I should be able to just suck all that solder out pretty easy. Okay, so these two are kind of a pain in the butt just due to the proximity to the TV tuner and that crystal. I could theoretically remove the crystal if I wanted to. I just think that's unnecessary. But you can see how my snips are almost like a 45-degree angle with that thing. Just be very careful. Careful as you can be. So we're just going to go ahead and snip this one as well while we're here. So this one's buttoned up against the AV-in jack. It's kind of hard to move things around. All right, so there is that. Now, can I see a little bit better here? Yes, we can. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the not the jack, but the switch that switches from external monitor to internal monitor. Which, fun fact, caused me to chase my tail for a while, thinking that my right side power input was bad, but right side power only works when you're outputting to the TV. Or maybe even hooking up the CD-ROM attachment, but either or. I found that out after thinking I had to replace a relay on the board, which I did not. Even though I spent money on them. But I'd rather spend money on something and not have to use it. The less work you gotta do, the better. Honestly. The more you gotta touch your board, the more chances you have to destroy it, so. Alright, we're just gonna get in there and clip that nub if I can. Come at it from the other side though, even though I don't like parallel perpendicular cuts, but I can't really get to that otherwise. And that should free that up. And I can clean this whole mess. Once I get this off. If I can get this off. Come on. There you go. Pain in my butt. Like you were. Alright, so we still got this giant nub in the way. And that's precisely why I always put my finger over it. And just brain farted on that. Hopefully that just shut off the board, which I'm thinking it did. That definitely looks a little, you could kind of see how it's looking kind of whitish gray. Generally indicates that that fluid has kind of started to corrode the solder some. Alright, so if we can get to this guy now. Shard. Might just end up clipping the plastic on. Oh, there's still some of the capacitor left on that I can't really see because it was blended in. I might just end up saying screw it though. I'm breaking the plastic on this one. Maybe. If I'm lucky. Come on. Stop being a pain in my butt, would you? Just break. There we go. Alright. Yeah. It's just fighting me. Fight me. Still have this capacitor. Crap. There we go. Alright. Finally. So I got some cleanup to do in here. I am actually going to get some fresh alcohol. Alright. Fresh alcohol acquired. Let's clean this area up. It's looking pretty grody. Pretty grody, huh? So we'll just drip some puddles of alcohol, and once again we're kind of in an area that doesn't let me do what I want to do with this stuff. come in. All right. So now we've got to start the process of removing these legs. Oop, just transfer that leg from one side to the other. I think I had one more down here, did I? No? Not sure. Up top, though. This didn't look like it. Yeah, this definitely needs tiny bit of love. Tiny bit. Alright, so before... Oop, that did not want to let go very easily. Okay, so before I get too far ahead of myself here, let us finish off the job with this guy. And if all of my throw holes are going to be this much of a pain in the ass, then the next section I'm about to do is going to really suck. Alright, so I'm going to have to use probably my thinner braid to start, maybe. Now the other issue that we're going to have here is the damn passer leg is still stuck in the hole. See it still. So let's go take a look at the other side here. And there's that. So now I'm wondering, historically this has not worked very well for me in the past, but we're going to try anyway. Usually I kind of need the passer leg sticking out, but okay, so that didn't work as expected. Should maybe be able to get some braid in there. Let's get a little bit fresher braid that's not so frayed. Okay. Wow, this is something else. I might have a problem here. Wonder what would happen. Let's see here. I don't know what to do. Could try a quick little... No, it doesn't want to really fill for me that way, huh? What if I use the thicker stuff? Still don't think that's going to work. Problem is, I'm wondering if it's just because that capacitor leg is still stuck in there. We're going to try. trying to get some of the not really trying to scrub here, but yeah, crap, and I filled the other side now. That's kind of what I was worried about. Alright, so, oh boy. Alright, this is going to be a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. Alright. So there's the fender. Let's try. I might even have to use thinner braid, which I thankfully do have. It's 1.5. What are you? 2.0. Okay, I guess we could try this. Slightly thinner braid. And we got flux there already. So, but I might have to switch tips too, which would really suck because this does not really want to cooperate with me, does it? That might be cleared out. I don't think it is, though. I just don't think it is. We'll try, though. That might have done it. Okay, that's cleared out. That, however, is not. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, so do I? What's the other side look like again? Try it one more time with this, but my issue is that it's just the tip that I have right here is just not good enough. See what I'm saying? Like, I just can't really see what I'm doing. I don't think I can actually feed solder into that, do I? Can I? I might. Okay, I got some fresh solder in there. So I'm really just kind of trying to let it work through to the other side, but I don't think that's the case here. You can tell it's not really. It's sort of there. Maybe a little bit extra flux in the area. We could try again with, man, I'm trying not to reclog up the other hole too. That's the other problem that I'm having right now. I'm hoping maybe if I could just keep the braid off of it. Nope, still full. God dang it. Yeah. And now I can't see because all this shit's all burnt and gross. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Kind of where I'm going. I just wanted to just exhaust everything first before I went that route, but it's looking like I'm going to have to do that. It's just this little bit of corroded solder in this freaking through hole that is just not wanting to come out. Right there. Now, actually, maybe now? Maybe this will clear up. Let's do this. Thinking maybe I might be able to do this. Nah, see, it's whatever the heck is in there is not wanting to cooperate. Now, what do I have? Maybe. No, I'm not smashing this because let me freaking tell you. Yeah, I'd need a lot of liquor to make up for that, because this is a very, very, very expensive board. So let's try this. I'm wanting to really cooperate here, because I'll do it from the other side. The problem that we have is the area is so unbelievably freaking tight that I can't really get I could try a little hot air. Could try that. Can also, once again, just try this. Adding in a little bit of fresh solder, but he doesn't want to. Okay, so we got that going. Let's just take this leg here. Hilariously, got that going through, but like it's definitely not wanting to cooperate with me here, huh? I definitely have it soldered in. Well, it's soldered in, but okay, let's see here. Let's just do this just in case the board itself is stopping me from pushing it through. But if I wet this down, it legitimately does not. Yeah, it is 100% stuck. It literally does not matter. Guessing I am just going to have to hot air this, because yeah, whatever's in there is so not wanting to work. That is just hilarious, though. Usually The through-hole stuff is quite the easy job. You don't ever really struggle with it. But then you just get to these things. So I'm trying to think, maybe if I heat the wire up here. Nope. Literally just bent the leg. That's all it did. Wow. Okay. So. Grab this. Grab this. Add a little bit of flux. Just a little bit of flux there. And we're going to clip off some braid. Okay, that's way too much braid, but cut that almost a quarter. Don't need much. All I'm trying to do this. No, I'm probably better off using cleaner braid here, to be fair. Let's do that. Add a little bit more flux, maybe. Add the clean braid now. Okay. And okay, so we're just gonna do a dual heat here, and sometimes just an additional bit of heat make a huge difference. In this case, it didn't. Wow. Fuck me, man. What am I gonna do? Once again, more flux. Might have to do this from the other side. I don't know. Or maybe I don't know. I'll try one more time this way. This way has worked for me in the past, but it's been with non-corroded solder, which this is corroded solder, so again, I'm trying not to overstress the PCB as well. And my scope just cut out. don't. I don't know, but crackly sounds don't make me feel very good. The board is definitely getting very heat stressed. Ooh. Wait. Is that the capacitor leg? It is. That might have actually worked in my favor. Okay. Now, if I add in some flux. Okay, let me try again with some braid here. I might pull the solder sucker out, but there we go. Whew. Okay, finally. Boy, just needed a lot of heat, huh? Just needed a lot of heat. Okay, I think that fell through. We'll check on the other side. I think I can actually see it from here. All right, holy crap. Now that was an adventure. That was an adventure. But we got her cleared out. Yeah, very stressful. It's just, stressful, yeah, it was just annoying. Thankfully, like all this area that, this is ground right here. So, if I did any stupid things like lifting a pad or trace it would have been so bad. And thankfully, this as well, the input side of things right here is pretty close by. So, I don't know, is anal retentive a good word, or obsessive? I just like everything to be done professionally. You are not me? What do you mean you are not me? Okay. All right. Winning. Yeah, well, we'll say that when this thing goes all the way back together with no more problems. Then I can 100% say that. Now, can I seal it? Not really. God, this camera just absolutely hates metal. The white balance got so skewed. Believe me, man. This whole repair is very stressful for me. I am not even joking. I'm shitting my pants the entire effing time. Mainly because of how expensive and rare it is. So Stick with the thicker stuff. Okay, let's go in there. Now I can maybe just oh, that's good enough for me. You know, when I fixed the last one, I told myself it's going to be the last one I was going to ever do because they're so rare and they're so expensive that I didn't really think I was going to ever do another one. To have the seller that I bought my first one from offer me a deal on this one that I couldn't say no to, especially because this one was in a far better cosmetic shape. You know what? Doesn't make any sense to do it this way. And even then, I mean, we're talking $1,400 for this, all said and done. Or actually, it was $1,500 all said and done after taxes and all that crap. But in the world of this device, it's actually pretty decent. Because fully repaired, they sell for about $2,500 to $3,000. So what I'm going to do is sell the first one I worked on. Hopefully sell. I say this, I'm kind of like banking that this person that I'm going to offer this to is going to be interested in, but I truthfully don't really know if they are or not. But they are a big collector, and this is a pretty rare item, and I'm 99.9% sure he doesn't have one. So I'm kind of banking on that, and obviously he can say no, in which case I'm not up shit creek, but I'm definitely going to be pinching pennies for a while. And the good thing about these things is that they only go up in value, so you do have that going for you. Alright, so we're gonna maybe do it this way. This is a very tough area to work in. That variable resistor is really making my life miserable. Now, the last time that I did this one, I almost lifted this pad, this pad that I'm trying to wick right now. So that's why I'm kind of going at it a bit wonky. And I'm really trying to make sure that I go with the pad on this one, because, I mean, granted, it was probably because the other one was just so weakened by the electrolytic fluid, but still, I definitely watched half the ground pad come up, and it really made me very uncomfortable. Haha. Holy crap. Okay, so that was probably shittiest so far, but we're not out of the woods yet. We still have one more section left, and I've got to really clean here because I've used a lot of flux. Crystals slightly getting in my way. Oof, okay. It's still not completely clear. Well, yeah, it is. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Frickin'. Okay. Looking good there. Surprisingly, only lost a little bit of solder mass, which is, considering the amount of heat I was putting in the area, is very surprising. Now, can't tell real quick. I'm going to and last but not least, we're just gonna scrub this as well. And just double check, make sure I didn't short anything to each other. Yeah, see, I did a little bit more solder mass damage on this side, but again, it's not a huge deal. It's just pride. That was the word I was looking for. I've got a lot of pride in my work. And so if I can make things look fresh off the factory floor, I prefer it. Sometimes you just can't make that happen. Alright, so that one might give me a little bit of a headache getting something through that, maybe, but I think we'll be okay for now. Okay, so I guess we'll just do a little bit of blotting because passes tend to grab onto the cotton bud. Okay, so that looking pretty good. Alright, so we're moving on to our last section here. And I think, as we can see, which is this guy, this section right here, I might try to avoid removing that speaker connector, but I might not have a choice. Might not have a choice on that one. So anyway, we've got a whole lot of through-hole components on this side. You can definitely see a lot of leak damage. This is an actual relay, surprisingly. Yeah, you can see some corroded solder on those passes there. But we're gonna have to let's start with this guy. Okay, which is gonna be right here. These two. So let's cross our fingers that this one is not a repeat. Thankfully. Oh, it's looking like a repeat. Yeah, it's a repeat. Thankfully, though, it's not as crammed in this area. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting to happen. Might actually have to get recut silicone for this tip here as well, but we're going to actually take care of this mess. Real fast. Once again. Why? Why did all my through holes have to corrode? You were supposed to be the easy ones. You were supposed to be the easy ones. Alright, so we're going to just try this from a different angle now. Clean up the PCB a little bit. But we can see that we're stuck in the same boat. Quite literally stuck in the same boat. I don't think. I'm trying to maybe work that in there some. Let's try the. Make sure I've got no. I'm actually going to have to figure out what I did with the little bit of silicone tube. And alright, let's try this again now. Round 2, huh? You do not want to cooperate with me. Nope. Alright, so do I hot air it? That's the other option that we've got. Or do I try again with more flux and braid? Again, it's just a hole. I don't want to overstress the PCB, but at the same time, don't really have much of a choice. Now I literally can't see anything. Yeah. You can see I'm starting to damage the PCB because the heat is too much. It's literally starting to eat through the PCB here. And that is not good. Not what I want. Crud. And there's just no easy way to grab this capacitor either. Don't like that sound very much. Oh, it's the voltage regulator that I gotta worry about here. Issues. There we go. Not the most elegant way to do it, but it worked. But we're left in the same, almost the same scenario as before. Not as bad though. I think I can actually get to that from the other side. Okay, yeah, maybe. But we can see the slight little bit of damage we've got going on here. But let's just go ahead and we'll reflux and see what we can suck up. Okay. That should be good enough to, like, at the very least, get the passive capacitor through. My lord. That was not fun. Now I've got two more I've got to do in a much more compact area. This area was pretty corroded. Actually, I remember cleaning it specifically because of all the junk that I could see. So I'm not expecting a very easy go of it, honestly. Yeah, you can see just how I did slightly kind of screw up that solder PCB some. I was hoping I was going to get through this repair without doing that, but well, when you gotta leave a lot of heat on the board, I guess. Alright, so we can get through that one. Can get through that one. We're just going to leave that alone to avoid stress. At the top of the PCB, as you can see, it's might try to rebraid that at the end. I'm going to take all the rest of the caps off first. So we've got this big guy and this big guy to get off next. So we'll take care of the one on the edge of the board first. And as I said, I'm not really expecting this to go smooth, but we could get lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky. At least this one's on the edge of the board too, so if it comes down to it, should be fairly easy to deal with. Yeah. Fortunately, I have stressed the silicone tip on this bunch, so it's not really forming the greatest seal. What if I did this? Yeah, let's try it this way. Alright. Maybe we'll get a slightly better seal now. That could have been part of the problem that we were having. But obviously not all of it. Did get a good chunk of that out though, I will say. Better than we were doing, but still not all of it in one go. So theoretically, all this should suck out without much issue. Okay, so now we try a little bit of flux around that, and then a little bit of braid. Okay. It's literally the same thing, it's just now I actually have an easier way to grip on, so I don't have to doing this off camera, I know, but perfect. At least I can get a solid grip on things. Now I know I left a whole bunch of solder in there, but one side's okay, the other side definitely is not. I'm wondering if maybe I do it like this. And we go in and we add in a little bit of flux right here. And some braid. Maybe we'll get lucky. You know, maybe we'll just get lucky on this one. Well, I thought about getting lucky, huh? Did not really happen. Try one more time. We might go up top to see if that'll be a help, but historically has not been working out too well for us here, huh? So that's that top one. Yeah, you can see how it's all kind of gunked up on this side too. This area was pretty corroded. and was instantly cleaned when I pulled the shell apart, because I didn't want to let that sit, because there's a couple of components over here that you cannot buy modern replacements for. So that's definitely not doing anything. Not doing a damn thing. I can tell right now. This is not going to give me joy. Nope. This side, fine. This side, no sir. Literally the same effing problem. Grrr. Grrr. Now this side's definitely the tougher one to work from. I'm gonna turn this damn light off so I can fucking see. Alright. It's almost like you want to try. And I could try this again. This didn't work out very well for me last time, but and as expected is not. Oh, okay. So I got that through. Now let's take a look at this side. So I want to see. Okay. Okay. Now I take this. Will this allow me to suck up any of that solder that was in there? Not sure. Not sure. But at least we caused some movement of that solder, which is a good thing. All right, and now, hey, look, it worked. Came with the leg. Little ham-fisted, but whatever works, right? All right, cat. Yes, I see you down there. I see you down there. Okay, so I could see just a little tiny bit of solder I want to take care of. Okay. So now we're going to clean this now. At least this time, I didn't ruin the PCB. At the end of the day, even kind of chewing up the PCB a little bit isn't a huge deal. It's just not the level of work I want to put forth. Unfortunately, I really had no choice. Soak up what I can here. Looking good. Looking good. Yeah, a little tiny bit there, but not a huge deal. All right, so we got one more through hole we got to do. I think that would be this guy right here. So it would be those two suckers right there. All right. So not gonna be fun, but not a huge deal. I'm pretty sure that's none, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Okay, that came out much better than before. So there's still some stuff in there, but uh-oh. I may have just broke my solder sucker. Nope, nope. Maybe. I might have. Oh yeah. Yep. I 100% just broke my solder sucker, didn't I? Ah, dang it. No! Not when I was literally on my last hole. Okay. Maybe it fixed it. But now I lost the silicon tip. Son of a gun. That's where this stream is like more of a hunt for the object you just lost than anything else. What the heck did I do with it? Stupid me. Oh, there it is right there. Alright. Well, let's try. Just wondering if this thing was starting to get internally plugged up with solder. Alright, so I've got to figure out where I was. That's down south of that. Blah, 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 blah. No, wait. Yes, I can see it now. Right there. Alright, see what we got. See what we got here. More of the same. More of the same. But thankfully this one's not as bad. Alright, so we're gonna just see where we can get with some braid. Maybe I should probably have done the start, but you know, live and learn. Anyway, let's get this going here. Alright. That might have, maybe. So this cap's in a slightly awkward spot, but no, I didn't want to do that. No, what did I do that for? Shit. Okay, hopefully I don't think I destroyed anything. No, I did not. Ooh. Okay, well. Just gonna have to do this the manual way. Okay. So that guy, little leaky, but thankfully no damage. Not the smoothest pull, unfortunately. But actually that one kind of went better than the other ones have been going, so there is that. I guess we'll take our victories where we can get them, huh? Let's see if we can't just get the last of that little bit of solder up. Or maybe we'll just plug the hole even more. Might have to do the same trick we did before and see if we can pull the solder out with the capacitor. There we go. Somewhat clear. I still think I'm gonna need to touch that up on the other side because that's going through. This side going through. Okay. All right. Well, it is what it is. We got her removed. Can move on for now. Yeah, you could still see, I might come back over and try, but you could see the solder there, you could see the solder there. It's just that crummy, corroded crap. Yeah, look at that transistor right here. It's not looking the greatest either. I gotta get in there and clean. I actually have kind of a nice little tool for that now. Let's try this real quick. I just dropped it over that transformer thing and really not where it needed to go. There we go. That should work. So I picked these up, and to be quite honest, when I used it last week, it did a really good job. Yeah, you can see that the capacitor fluid is eating away at a lot of that PCB mask, so this is still an awkward spot even for this thing. It's actually doing a pretty good job. Cleaning the gunk off the legs, and they're meant to go in between your teeth. And they do a really good job of. Alright, so now let's take a look at this here real quick, because this is worrisome. So I know so where's this going? Alright, so we've got, this is directly into the Hue IC, and I think, if I did this right, should be this guy right here. Is that a ground though, or is this one of those weird ones? No, it's ground. Okay. So thankfully this is a ground trace. It's probably just, yeah, just old PCB mask that's darkened up. Still have connection though, so that's good. That was the last through-hole capacitor, so that's even better. Which means that we just have 3 little tiny ones left. So this guy, directly to the left of this capacitor, this guy right here, this is the T500 transformer, and that is a part that is custom for these boards. The only other console you'll find them on is the PC Engine GT or Turbo Express, and they are pretty important. Now, Mr. Luke over at Retro6 has a guess on a potential modern replacement, but I think the size is way bigger. So, unfortunately, in the context of something like this, it probably wouldn't work because it won't fit, even if the values are the same. So there's a part you really don't want to have die on you. Let me just tell you, because I had one die on me, and yeah, you can only get another one from harvesting it from a broken GT, which, if you're familiar with those, they're a couple $100 broken. So it's like really expensive part, and the amount of actual just straight parts boards for those consoles is non-existent. So you will not most likely be finding a deal unless you know someone who exclusively works on them and has a bunch of spares, and even then I'd imagine you'd be spending a pretty penny just to get the transformer. Probably about $50 is my guess. And they're, of course, at least with both of them, at the very least, you do have the option of doing a screen mod and upgrading to a modern screen, but yeah, it's not as desirable as keeping things original. Not a bad thing, but this one, with how expensive it is, and I would have to absolutely have no other choice but to do a screen mod on them. Alright, so let's get this guy. Well, these fucking base plates have been. There we go. Okay. feeling my cat is plotting to jump on my neck here in a second, but maybe not. Okay, the last but not least, CC506. You are the last one on this board. Perfect. Making sure I wasn't crunching things I wasn't supposed to be crunching. Thankfully that shot onto my arm and not the board. Okay, and then we got these little nubbies. That one's gone, and finally, last but not least, that one. Ooh, all right. All right. So now we get a clean. Theme of the day. Cut and clean, cut and clean. Not looking bad. Not looking bad. All right. Now I had already kind of cleaned this area, but now that we've got the caps off, get a much better look at things. This whole area is pretty crummy when I first got it. Thankfully, so this is going to be a little bit of dead PCB mask is my guess. Or glue. They do put a little bit of glue sometimes in the through-hole stuff. Let's just scrub one more time and then we'll hit it with the fresh Q-tip here. Okay. Now, go up here and just trying to suck up any residual cap fluid. Okay, let's see if we can see that. We'll get to that with this guy. Maybe. That's kind of what I like about them is so they can thread through those tight spaces, so you got junk in an area where a normal toothbrush can't really get to it. That does a pretty good job. Moderate bristles. I might go for the stiffer ones next time, but the moderate works okay. So if you're looking for something to kind of really get into tight spots, that normal, so I can here would be a good example of that. You can kind of just scrub through there, behind the power jack. You know, they're cheap. You don't get too many in a pack, but they're a couple of bucks, and they do. This one's been through a couple of sessions so far. I don't really know when I should probably replace it, but I guess once it starts either getting really gunked up or... I can't tell if that's melted or not, but... Alright, so gotta be real careful in this area. Lots of plastic. Hopefully I can get... I actually do have a single spare DC jack if I needed it, but let's just do our best here. Yeah, I'm most likely gonna have to pull that port off. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'd like to try to see if I can avoid that, to be quite honest. Because I did it last time and I kind of melted the port a little bit due to the fact that the solder had kind of done its corrosion thing. Okay, get that going. Do that. Guess that leg came up. Is that it? I guess, you know, end of the day, oh shit, I bet you I just melted that, didn't I? Does smell a little plasticky. Okay, so I guess we'll just do our thing here and okay, now this guy. There we go. Might have put a little bit too much on that pad, but that's okay. Alright. We've got alright, that should be it. Now I can just focus on cleanup. Didn't work out too well. Let's try that again. Let's clip this though. Probably a little bit easier if I do it this way. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot easier, honestly, because I could just basically go with the pad. Maybe it's a little awkward, but not too bad. I don't like how this stuff frays so easily. Okay, that looks good. So now we just do a quick 1-2 again on the toothbrush and alcohol. And I think I'm going to call it a day. As much as I want to continue, my head is telling me no. The through hole stuff took me way longer than I was expecting, to be perfectly honest, and I don't know. Part of me thinks I should keep going. The other part of me recognizes the fact that this thing is very absurdly expensive and mistakes with it are not desirable. So I think knowing that, I'm just going to call it a day. We got all the caps removed on this guy. No lifted pads. Very, very, very minimal damage. Just a couple of charred PCB spots. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. Next week we'll be back and we will do absolutely get the caps put on. We'll troubleshoot the other board. I've got some additional parts I need to put on those as well. There's a couple of resistors I wanted to replace. So we'll do that. We'll replace some resistors, and then I got to troubleshoot the audio being low. Compared to this one, the audio on the one that I fixed before is much lower and tinny. Normally I would blame the capacitor on that, but we replaced all the capacitors, so it could be a speaker issue. It could be the audio amp is starting to go. It is a common problem. So I think I actually do have spare audio amps, believe it or not. And if I don't, I could probably order them. Other than that, it was a very successful day in capacitor removal and cleaning. The board looks pretty damn good. And I'm sure when I get back to it next week, I'll keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and keep ruining the fact that I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner. And we'll get the caps put back on. We'll get this thing put back together, and we will add this one to my collection. So I do appreciate anybody that stopped by today. I'm so glad that my microphone actually stayed active the entire time, so I'm not ignoring the few people that do drop in. Anybody watching in the future, likes, comments, subscribes are always appreciated. I stream every Saturday and Sunday from around 11 a.m. noon Central Standard Time to about 4 or 5 p.m. same time zone. I like to do mods on Saturdays and repairs on Sundays, but lately it's been repairs on both days. The next week, I guess technically we'll be sort of maybe modding our Neo Geos, because what we're going to start on hopefully next Saturday is working on the RGB mods. I definitely have an audio mod that I've got to do, and then we've got to finish up the capacitors on this thing. So, we'll get back to that next week. I hope you all have a great week and a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you here next weekend. So, yeah, y'all have a great one.